Hi, Rockets. It's Mrs. Wilkenbush. We are continuing our book club study today on Galaxy Games The Challengers. We will be doing chapters 22 and 23 today. So let's get started. And I hope that the names are a little easier for me today. Whew. Destination Unknown. Tyler, Wheeze, and Ling examined the driving console and tried to figure out how to turn the bus around. Meanwhile, Tamako and Felix held down Agato so he wouldn't be tempted to press any more controls. Takai just curled himself into a ball on the floor. Not again, not again, not again, he said over and over. Why are all the windows covered? Asked Ling. We can't see where we're going. It's probably for safety, said Wheeze. The bus thinks there's an emergency. Tyler frowned at the emergency recall button, which had turned from blue to red and was no longer flashing. Maybe if I press it again. He tried several times, but there was no further effect. I'm getting off this bus, no matter where in the world it stops us, and I'm not getting it back on it again, proclaimed Takai. Agato suddenly popped up between Tyler and Wiz. Has anyone tried turning this knob over here? He twisted the control, and the interior lighting dimmed to the intensity of flickering candlelight. Tyler turned back to Mako and Felix. Why did you let him go? We tried to hold him, but he's so slippery, said Felix. Like an eel, Tamako agreed. Agato gave one of the knobs a quarter turn to the right. With a loud, rattling sound, a metal plate slid away from the back window of the bus. Tamako ran back and pressed her hands against the glass. Hey, that's Earth! The other kids pushed in for a view. Earth's oceans, continents, and atmosphere filled the rear window. Now I've seen the world, Ling exclaimed in awe. This reminds me of an interview I once read from Stephen Falconer, said Wheeze. He said seeing the world without boundary lines is a life-changing experience. He was so right. Seeing the world getting smaller and smaller in the rear window very quickly is also a life-changing experience, Felix added. Not just in a good way. Turn us around, shouted Takai. I don't know how, Tyler shouted back. Seriously, Tyler-kun, turn us around. Tamako put a hand on Takai's trembling shoulder. It'll be okay, Takai-kun. Just try your best to breathe normally until the oxygen all leaks out and we slowly suffocate to death. Are you always such a downer? Tyler asked her. I can comfort my friend any way I want, Tamako stated. Tyler took Takai by the arm. He may be your friend, but he's my cousin. Tamako grabbed Takai's other arm. He was my friend first. No, he wasn't, said Tyler. He's been my cousin since we were born. But he didn't know you very well, did he? Said Tamako. Can I say something? Asked Takai. No, shouted both Tyler and Tamako. Tamako gave Takai's arm a hard yank. I have more in common with Takai-kun than you ever will. We're both Japanese. Tyler pulled Takai back toward him. I'm Japanese too. You're American and you're a vegetarian, Tamako retorted. How can you be Japanese if you don't eat sushi? And I'll bet you've never even heard of Hunter Elf Zeta. Hunter Elf who? Asked Tyler. I rest my case, Tamako shouted. Can you both let go of my arms now, Takai asked. I feel like a human wishbone. Hey guys, Agato shouted from the front of the bus. What do you think this button does? He pressed it and everyone immediately flew up onto the ceiling of the bus. Oh, reverse gravity, how cool. Stop pressing buttons, everyone shouted at Elgato in 5 languages at once. But that's what buttons are for, the masked boy explained. All right, nobody panic, Tyler told the others. Returvo said the bus was programmed to bring us to a safety point. It might not be on Earth, but at least it should be safe. Being lost in space is not what I'd call safe, said Takai. He pulled his mobile phone out again. Hello, Mother. Remember when I said what I said about being in Greece? I can't even see Greece anymore. The entire Earth fits in the back window, and now it's drifting to the left. Drifting. It's gone. Have you ever been somewhere where you couldn't see the Earth? I sure haven't. Are you really getting a signal? Tamako asked him. Takai shook his head sadly and showed her a phone. No bars. In space. No one can accept your call. Wheeze pumped his fist. Now this is why I joined the Galaxy Games team. To end up lost in space in an out-of-control flying bus? Asked Felix. Wheeze grinned. No, to put me that much closer to finding my brother. He peered out the back window as if missing his brother might float past him in His missing brother might float past him at any moment. Tyler walked across the ceiling of the bus, carefully stepping over the bags and suitcases that had floated upward with the shifting gravity. The driving console was upside down now, but most of the controls were still within reach. Maybe we can unblock a few more windows. After a few minutes of trying knobs at random, Tyler managed to slide the metal plate from the front windshield. Guys, I think I know where we're going. It's the moon, said Ling in an odd voice, first in Chinese and then through Tyler's language implant. It's so bright, said Felix. It's so beautiful, said Tamako. It's coming right at us. Dakai put his arms out as if he were bracing for an impact. The moon grew larger until it filled the entire front window. Craters and plains stood out in more and more detail until the entire moonscape slid out of their view toward the bottom of the bus. Great, said Dakai. Now we've lost sight of the moon as well. We must be in orbit, said Tyler. I'll try to uncover the windows in the ceiling. I mean the floor. Well, you know what I mean. The ones between us and the moon. Oh, good, said Elgato. You found the horn. That will be handy if we run into traffic. Tyler tried another knob. Metal plates slid back from the windows mounted in the floor above their heads, giving a clear view of rocks and craters rushing past at great speed. Are we in orbit? Asked Wheeze. Tyler shook his head. I don't think we're high enough to be in orbit. We're all going to die, Dakai explained. We're going to die on the moon, upside down, in an orange-shaped bus. Of all possible ways to die. That's one I've never even heard of. Wheeze pulled a photograph from his pocket and gave it a gentle kiss. Sorry, Gustav. I tried my best. No, wait, look. Tamako pointed to the front window. Sunlight glinted off a glassy, city-sized dome that looked like a giant's overturned soup bowl. We're saved. We're still on the moon, Dakai reminded her. It will take a lot more than a big blue bubble to save us, for us to be saved. Does anyone have a camera? Wheeze asked. UFO Believers Home Journal will want some photographic proof of this. Tamako handed him a pink mobile phone with the big-eyed cartoon elves all over it. Wheeze snapped picture after picture of the moon bubble as they approached it. Although the dome could have easily held the entire downtown area of Platte Bluff, there were just a few small buildings surrounded by an array of statues. Just before impact, a circular gate opened to allow the bus to pass into the dome's interior. The ground approached slowly, and the entire bus rocked gently as the 4 tires touched the surface. Well, that wasn't so bad, said Tyler. Then the gravity shifted, and they all fell back to the floor, along with the shower of bags, suitcases, and other belongings. The door creaked open with a rush of air that was lemon-scented but breathable. Elgato is still ranked number 5 out of 5, so does that mean Elgato has to leave first? The masked boy eyed the door with suspicion. Tyler shook his head. I don't care what our turbo says. I'm going out first. He stepped along the aisle as the others silently moved out of his way. It might have been a foolish thing for him to volunteer, but he was technically in charge, at least until he had a chance to officially quit the team. The other players moved behind the captain. Tyler Sato will protect us, said Felix, which should have made Tyler laugh if he weren't concentrating so hard on maintaining a brave expression. He tried to imagine how a real Galaxy Games captain like Mafrazo would act in a situation like this, if she didn't have slime and tentacles. Tyler stepped to the open door and looked out. He could see the sun above them, tinted blue and diffused by the dome. Earth was nowhere in sight. We must be on the dark side, Tyler told the others. It's not really dark. It just faces away from the Earth, so we'll never get to see it. The great Tyler Sato thinks he knows everything, Tamako scoffed. Not everything, said Tyler. Just what you pick up when your father is a professor of astronomy. A red carpet stretched from the bus to a building shaped something like a cuckoo clock made from a gray lunar rock. On the other side of the carpet stood rows of giant stone slabs that looked exactly like the carved Moai statues of the Easter Island. But as far as Tyler could see, there were no living beings in sight. Tyler remembered a grainy video he had seen of early astronauts dropping gently down a ladder to plant an American flag on the moon's surface. Here's one small step for me and one giant leap for me. Tyler stuck his right foot out, pushed forward, and went flying upward in a low gravity. He flipped twice in the air before landing in a sprawl on the carpet. Tamako and Felix sprang toward him. Captain Sato, are you all right? Yeah, but watch out for that first step. Ling was the first to leap off the carpet. She landed on the moon's surface with a cloud of kicked up dust. I'm the first Chinese girl on the moon, she proclaimed. How do you like my boots now, Tamako? They may be ugly, but I'll bet they'll end up in a museum. The others joined Ling on the surface. Wheeze and Elgato played catch with the moon rock that would have weighed 20 pounds on Earth. Tamako and Felix took turns balancing each other, one-handed over their heads. Tyler watched Ling turn somersaults in the air as if she were bouncing on a trampoline. Even Takai seemed to forget how anxious he had been about leaving Earth. They were all laughing and joking around so much that they failed to notice that the Easter Island statues were moving, and most of them now scowled in disapproval. The largest rock statue cleared its throat with a grinding boom. The dust-covered Earth kids instantly froze. Even Ling, who was 15 feet above the surface in the middle of a spiraling jump. Oh, hello, said Tyler awkwardly. Hello, answered the giant rock. Woof, added Ling as she flopped on the earth. She winced and rubbed her right shoulder. Back on Earth, Master Wan would have scolded me for not sticking my landing. Takai tapped my shoulder. Did that giant statue just make a strange grinding sound? No, said Tamako. That giant alien just said hello in his native language. Takai swallowed hard. Ah, yes, that's what I was afraid you'd say. The rock-like aliens watched them with expression carved in stone, complete with jutting chins, enormous noses, and deep-set eyes. The big-headed creatures had no visible arms or legs and came in a variety of sizes, ranging from 10 feet tall to more than 50. Their leader, who could have been hollowed out and used as an office building, moved its thick stone lips to make another stone-grinding speech. Welcome, Tyler Sato and underlings. Underlings? Asked Tamako in outrage. Tyler made a gesture for her to back off. You know who I am? He asked the giant rock. The stony lips moved in a slight smile. Of course we do. As a Galaxy Games captain, you are the most highly regarded member of your entire species. Although I do have to admit, I thought you would be taller. That's what I said, Felix exclaimed. Tyler frowned. And who are you? I am Trade Commissioner Roke of the Osmanian Empire. Oh, exclaimed Liz. The Osmidians, you're the ones who gave us the buses. We were glad to find a use for them, said Commissioner Roke. They are a discontinued model, not rugged enough to safely handle Osmanian toddlers, but perfectly suited for you and your team. Well, thanks. Tyler wondered whether being compared to Osmanian toddlers was meant to be an insult. It probably was, he thought, but he chose to ignore it. If your toddlers are that tough, I'd hate to meet your Galaxy Games team. The Osmanians chuckled to themselves, and Commissioner Roke seemed to fight back a secret smile. Yes, we are quite proud of them. But about the buses, it seems that you haven't yet programmed the emergency recall systems with the location on your planet. Did you fail to read the owner's manual? I guess so, said Tyler. Then I must apologize for any inconvenience. Something in the Osmanian's tone reminding Tyler of the many times when his sister had apologized for something she'd gladly do a dozen times more if she could. Don't worry about it, said Ling. She stomped another footprint on the surface, the lunar surface. We're on the moon. Indeed, said the Osmanian, and you have come at the most portentous time. 2 of our agents are in New York City right now, presenting documents to your United Nations General Assembly. The inside of the dome flashed with the message in Osmidian symbols, and the grin on Roke's face cracked open wide enough to display stone teeth the size of kitchen tables. It seems our trade mission has just become an official embassy to the nations of Earth. Well, congratulations, said Tamako. What does that mean? Roke's teeth banged together in deafening cracks as he spoke. It means that the land under this dome is now recognized as Osmanian territory under galactic law. Another Osmanian began to speak. He was 15 feet tall and almost 10 feet wide, but still looked tiny next to the Commissioner Roke. Captain Tyler Sato, the smaller Osmanian, proclaimed, My name is Stonifer. As captain of the Osmanian Galaxy Games team, I formally challenge you for your spot in the Galaxy Games tournament. Well, you can't have it, said Tyler. The young Osmanian grinned, revealing a mouthful of skateboard-sized teeth. You're in our territory, so you don't really have a choice. At Stonehofer's signal, the ground beneath the dome sank downward in a series of concentric rings, forming the bowl of an enormous artificial crater. Tyler and his teammates found themselves standing with Roke and Stonehofer in the middle of the lowest level, which was as wide across as a football field, while the other Osmanians arranged themselves on the tiers above. It's like we're in the middle of a huge stadium, Ling explained. But we're not ready, said Tyler. We haven't even had our orientation yet. Captain Tyler, Stonehofer said in a formal tone, the rules of the challenge season state that you may refuse my invitation to challenge, but if you do, your tournament spot will be ours by forfeit, and your planet will never receive another chance to compete. Chapter 23, Australian Embassy Dome, the Moon. Tyler clenched his fist. Well, that's not fair. You can't take our spot in the Galaxy Games tournament, not when you brought us here out against our will. Did we? Captain Stonehofer arched his stone eyebrows. Were we the ones who pressed the emergency recall button on your transport vehicle? No, that was me. Agato proudly waved his button-pressing finger in the air. Well, then there's your answer. The Madarians won't let you get away with this, Tyler insisted. When they find out what you've done, your whole planet will suffer. The Asmians all laughed as if Tyler had just told the funniest joke ever. None of this would have been possible without the approval of the Madarian ruling council. Most Madarians don't want to pledge allegiance to a planet that cares so little about sports. But Earth loves sports, Felix claimed. Commissioner Roke glared down at him with disbelieving eyes. Really? Then why, in the entire history of the Galaxy game, has nobody from your world ever attended a single tournament game? And before you make up a story about how your great-grand-uncle hopped the Vendor Express to see Planet Bozari from Planet Sphune to 3 extended overtime periods, keep in mind that we have access to all the attendance records. Well, of course we've never been to any of your games, Tamako pointed out. We don't have any spaceships. Well, that wouldn't stop a real sports fan, Commissioner Roke insisted. Tyler felt as if the world were spinning out from under his feet. Or maybe that was just the moon's low gravity. Was Arturo in on this? Is that why he insisted on running so many drills past that flashing blue button? Trade Commissioner Roke nodded, which made him look a bit like a giant domino in danger of toppling over. Arturo would have conducted those safety drills for as long as it took until one of you finally pressed that button. Agato nudged Tyler's arm. So it was a good thing that we got over with quickly, yes? You should be thanking Elgato for saving you so much time. Roke stifled a yawn. Are there any more questions before we get to the challenge? Yes. Wheeze let the moon's weak gravity carry forward in a series of kangaroo hops. Your people must have been to Earth before, right? To a small island on the South Pacific, Rapa Nui, about 1,000 years ago? Perhaps. Roke rounded the base of his body into the moon. Wiz grinned. You must have made a pretty strong impression. The people there have spent centuries carving statues in your honor. We cannot confirm or deny the contact with your species, Roke stated. Of course not, said Wheeze, but the evidence speaks for itself. You were creatures of stone, and the giant stone structures popped up all over ancient Earth about that same time. Stonehenge in England, the Great Pyramid of Egypt, and the Period of the Sun in Mexico, and more. It's almost as if you were producing a reality show about all the crazy things you could convince our ancestors to build. Roke's scowl deepened. Fine, I'll admit it. You probably would have caught a rerun of those wacky humans on a budget-branded quantum eventually. But so what? So, said we, you've been to Earth before, and now you're back. That leads me to a question, a very important question. Probably the most important question here. What is it? The Osmanian's eyes glowed with inner fire and irritability. Tyler leaned forward, hoping that the Brazilian boy had come up with some loophole to cancel the challenge and get them all safely returned to Earth. Be honest. We saw a photo of his other. Jumped at this boy. Ilinko Grease. Mafrazo back and forth, causing her slime tail to thicken and form. We cannot start this orientation without Captain Tyler Sato, she insisted. I saw his bus land, volunteered a Canadian hockey player named David. He was talking to the creepy-looking purple squid thing in the parking lot, and then he just took off. Creepy-looking? Mafrazo shook froth for tentacles as she spoke. You think the Madarians are creepy-looking? What about me? Do you think I'm creepy-looking? David shrank back. No, no, of course not. Mafrosa's nose holes popped as she took a series of calming breaths. There are only 3 Madarians on Earth right now. I'm here, Nagatu is at a plumbing technology conference, and Arturvo. She squinted and thought, what business would Tyler Sato have with my pilot? Maybe he reminded him about something he'd forgotten back home, suggested the Argentine boy, who wore a fringed unitard and went by the name of the Amazing Waldo. Mafrazo shook her head, spraying flecks of slime in all directions. The human children yelped and jumped away. The lucky ones were able to wipe the slime from their face or bare arms, while the others had to use their fingernails to scrape the blobs from their clothing or hair. During my time on Earth, I've got to know Tyler Sato quite well, Mafrazo told them. It would be most unlike him to be late or forgetful. The door opened and another Madarian slid into the hall. David pointed and said, That's him. That's the alien who was talking to Tyler Sato. Arturvo, Mafrazo called. Where is the Earth Captain? I cannot say, the Madarian pilot told her. Mafrazo narrowed all 3 eyes. You cannot say, or you do not know? I cannot say, Arturvo repeated, and Mafroza felt a chill go down her spinal support tube. What was the pilot up to? Arturvo folded his arm tentacles across his torso. Have you not begun your lecture yet? We have a schedule to keep. These Earth children need to have their basic introduction to the games. Mafrazo sighed through her nose holes. Very well. If you see Tyler Sato or other missing players, have them sent into this briefing room immediately. I will do so, if I see them. Arturvo burbled to himself and slid back out of the room. Very suspicious, thought Mafrazo, but she didn't have time right then to investigate. Gather around the platform, humans, she told the Earth players. The children took their seats around the Madarian girl, but left the 2 closest rows empty. The Galaxy Games are scored on a 3x3 grid on which each side is represented by a different symbol. Traditionally, either a circle or a pair of intersecting lines at a 45-degree angle with respect to the grid. I happen to have brought the scoring sheet from the game I played against Tyler Sato, in which he won your team its spot in the tournament. The children leaned forward and peering at the paper stuck to Mafrazo's tentacle. They were silent for a long moment until a red-headed Irish rugby player named Connor jumped to his feet. Well, that's nuts and crosses, boxes and oxes, X's and O's. Tic-tac-toe, David added. Yeah, it's called that too, said Connor. Do you mean to say that Tyler Sato, our noble captain, the so-called best child athlete in Earth's history, won his greatest battle by putting O's and 3 boxes across? No, he did it diagonally, Mafrazo hoisted the page a little higher so Connor could see. Very sneaky. He caught me entirely off guard. Osmidian Embassy Dome, the moon. Tyler ripped a page from his roster book and drew a tic-tac-toe board with his pencil. Do you want to be X's or O's? He said, the Osmidian captain. Stonefair laughed in a booming, stone-like voice. Your handmade scoring sheet will not be required, Captain Tyler. Above their heads, at the inside of the dome, lit up a 3x3 grid. X's and O's flashed at random in the boxes before withdrawing to opposite sides of the empty game. Tic-tac-toe? Asked Tyler in disbelief. You've come zillions of light years through space, and this is the game you're challenging us with? I'd have expected rock, paper, scissors, said Ling. No, said Elgato. That requires 5-fingered hands. Oh, yeah, said Ling, glancing at the nearest armless and legless Osmanians. These guys have no hands, and they probably pick a rock every time. Anyway. Your planet's ignorance is astounding, Trade Commissioner Rowe told them. The logic game that you all call tic-tac-toe developed independently in every civilization in the galaxy. This makes it a perfect basis for a standardized galactic sport, with added rules to incorporate every game's contest and skill that can possibly be imagined. I think we can take them in a game of tic-tac-toe, Felix whispered to Ling, loud enough to be heard by everyone else, unless they fall on us while we're filling out our squares. Stonefer chuckled. Do you think our omni-roots are only good for anchoring us into the ground? Omni-roots? Asked Tyler. The rocky dust around the Osmanian trembled as the 6 slender metal appendages sprang out of the bottom edge, like triple-jointed insects' legs ending in claws. 2 of Stonefer's 6 claws rose up in front of him like hands, while the other 4 dug into the moon's surface and lifted the alien's bulky stone body off the ground. Roots. And to answer Captain Tyler's question, Osmidia will take the O's. while Earth will be represented by the X. Link agrees. Connor raised his hand again. But tic-tac-toe, or whatever you want to call it, that's just for kids, isn't it? If you know the strategy and you get first up, it's impossible to lose. Exactly right, Mafraza bubbled approvingly, which is why we add extra rules to the game to make the game more challenging. Each box can have conditions for play, conditions for victory, and conditions for flipping from one mark to the other. Rules to the game, and negotiating the rules is like a game in itself. An experienced captain will increase his or her and its team's chances of winning, while an inexperienced captain is bound to put his or her team on a disadvantage. I am giving lessons to Tyler Sato. As long as he remains your strategic leader, the Earth team should do well. On the moon. Time out, shouted Mo. And Stonefer both stared at her. Can I call a timeout in this game, she asked. Well, the game has not yet started, Stonefer explained wearily. Take a pulse if you need to devise a strategy. That will give us a chance to stretch our root joints before the challenge. He and his teammates chattered away like wobbly, top-heavy insects. We're doomed, aren't we, said Wheeze. Tyler shrugged. My game against Mafraza wasn't like this. Because you didn't have any rules, said Ling. Because she let me win, Tyler confessed. The other kids stared at him, confusion and disbelief. Elgato thinks he understands, said the masked boy. You are the great Tyler Sato, the most powerful human athlete of all time, and Mafraza was so intimidated. No. I am not that most powerful kid in the world. I haven't spent my life training for the Olympics like Ling. I'm not a national martial arts champion like Tamako. I'd be a total joke on the soccer field against Wizard Felix. And I wouldn't, Tyler frowned at Elgato. You wouldn't look this good as a luchador mask, Elgato suggested. No, probably not, Tyler agreed. You all are playing while I cheated and lied my way onto it. I knew it, Tamako exclaimed. The great Tyler Sato is nothing but a fraud. I've been saying that for 3 months, but no one would believe me. The entire world was wrong, and I was right. You should quit the team before we all kick you out. I was already going to quit, Tyler told her. Too late. I'm kicking you out anyway, said Tamako. And since we're suddenly leaderless, I'm declaring myself the new Galaxy Games captain of Earth. Wait, why you? Asked Felix. Maybe one of us wants to be captain. I called it first, Tamako stated. Can we at least vote? Felix persisted. Tamako stung her tongue out at him and pulled down on one of her lower eyelids until Felix looked away. Now that that's settled, Tyler's son, take a seat with Dakai-kun in the stands and try to stay out of the way. We, son, you can be my chief tactician. What weaknesses do giant stone children have? Wheeze considered for a moment. Wind erosion would be the big one over 1,000 years. Or if they fall asleep in a bad night, they might get covered with graffiti. Tamako nodded. Okay, we can work with that. Elgato, Ling, check out our Kansas spray paint. Aye, Captain Tamako, said Ling with a sharp salute. Tamako crossed her arms and looked quite pleased with herself. I have a good feeling about running the team. And that's where we're ending today. You guys, this is getting really good. And there weren't that many words that I couldn't pronounce, so let's hope that it continues that way. Be well, Rockets, and I'll see you soon.